We whittled it down, and now we're at the Final Four, which I'm told is a big deal. The last two slots have been filled here on a Sunday. Now we're into a Monday, but if you didn't see it, maybe you were out doing things. It was Easter weekend. You had stuff going on. I don't know. Perhaps you missed it. So Zach Edey throwing it down. If you like foul shots, big game for you. If you enjoy foul shots, awesome, amazing, stunning. Anyway, listen, but 40 points up, 16 rebounds, and the number one seeded Purdue the Boilermakers into the Final Four as they ended up dominating. I don't know, dominating. They outplayed Tennessee when it mattered. 72-66 the final, so Purdue advances. The Boilermakers return to the Final Four for the first time in not one, but two generations. 1980, the last time that Purdue made the Final Four, and they had several teams back, Gene Cady, that should have, could have, would have, but did not get it done. And then the other team to get in there, the number 11 seed, but not really a Cinderella at number 11 because they come from the ACC. The boys from Raleigh there into the championship Final Four, North Carolina State. DJ Burns. We talked about him last week, the guy that owns the vending machines. So DJ Burns had 29 points. And in this game, North Carolina did storm back. There was a storm surge by the Wolfpack in the second half, and they slay number 4 seed Duke. The Dukies are dead ducks. They're out, and see you later. Na-na-na-na, hey, goodbye. They're gone. So that means that NC State, for the first time since a guy named Jim Valvano was coaching many years ago, he's dead, 1983. And they are in to the Final Four. Last time they were there in 1983. So they will be joined in Phoenix, the greater Phoenix area. They're playing at a football stadium where the Cardinals play their games. But the Arizona, the road to Arizona, you've got Purdue, the number 1 seed. They're in. And you have the number 11 seed, NC State. They're in. And also another number 1, UConn. They absolutely poleaxed their helpless opponent over the weekend, and they're in number 4, Alabama. It's like, what's going on with that? All right, so we're going to start with the Wolfpack, NC State, and it's not so much about NC State. The better story is in the losing locker room, and Duke, this higher power in college basketball, the Dukies, and they go down. Down goes Duke in this particular game. So the question is this. There's a lot of people celebrating. There were many people during the game who were having a field day with this, that Duke was blowing it in the second half of the game. So the Blue Devils lose to NC State. Fine. Is Duke at the same level in the Venom big board? If you look at the big board of Venom, do you have the same Venom for the villainous Duke Blue Devils as they go down? So I have Vermin, Queen of Soul, and Wedding Planner. And we will combine all of these things together. We'll throw them against the wall, and we will see which of these things actually clicks. We'll see which sticks and clicks and all that. So A, to answer the question, does Duke have the same venom? Do you get the same joy of Duke losing to as you did in the past? The answer is no. The answer is absolutely not. And I'll shake my head no on that. Duke losing does not move the needle the way it did just a couple of years ago. Mighty Mouse is gone. That's why. Mighty Mouse is gone. There's no more rat scratch fever, if you will. The Vermin has retired, the man that often got criticized for looking like a rat. Coach K is not walking back through that door, at least as the coach. And so when he exited, when he said, bye-bye, I'm out of here, I'm done, when that happened, we know, right, common sense tells us that he was the main reason. Now, Duke's always had players on their team that are smarmy and annoying and very punchable players on Duke, right? They have elitist fans. They've got that going for them. But without Coach K was the one that tied everything together. He was the glue that tied it all together and glued it all down. Without him there, Duke is a shadow of what they had been in terms of the venom scale. They don't have the same level of haterade that they did in the past. Now, we pivot to Purdue, the Boilermakers, the winning locker room. Purdue, they're winning, but still despised, right? People are annoyed. There's a lot of people who have never experienced players the size of Zach Edey dominating a basketball game who are genuinely troubled by this. They want everyone to look like Steph Curry and shoot shots from the upper mezzanine, and they're bothered that Zach Edey is having success playing an archaic brand of basketball compared to what the NBA, for example, has been like for years, where you just spot up and shoot three-point shots, and that's all you need to do. So Zach Edey putting up Shaquille O'Neal-like stats, like NBA-level Shaquille O'Neal-like stats in this NCAA tournament. He had 40 points, 16 rebounds in this particular game, and that's not the story. The story is following the punching of the ticket to the Final Four. He used a profanity. He said the F word. Oh, my God, wash his mouth out with soap. Zach Edey said the F word. He unloaded on all the people that questioned him. Unloaded on all of them. And it was good audio. We're not going to play it, I guess, but good audio. Now, Zach Edey called out everyone who has ever doubted him. You, and you, including the star of the show, Tennessee coach and longtime journeyman college basketball coach Rick Barnes. He was not happy with Rick Barnes. He mentioned him. He says, I get to pay him back. Zach Edey said there were so many coaches that looked over me. Name a program, and I can name a coach that looked over me, close quote. All right, so what do you make of the Purdue star Zach Edey and his commentary here calling out coaches who overlooked him when he was coming out of Canada in the Toronto area? So he was channeling here on this one. This is a classic play. We've seen this before. I've done this job for too long. We know how this works. So this is the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, long dead also, but her song, I'm just asking for a little respect, right? R-E-S-P-E-C-T and all that, and find out what it means to me. And Zach Edey, right out of Central Casting, I have been preaching behind these microphones, the bully pulpit here at Fox Sports Radio for a number of years, that the most important thing in this entire ecosystem of sports is the critic. It's the hater. And right out of Central Casting, you got Zach Edey there, your prototypical athlete with a chip on the shoulder. Nobody thought we could do it. Nobody believed in me and all this. And so proving yet again, the haters and the critics are driving the bus. The bus goes round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round. And the critics are keeping the wheels on the bus going round and round. All right, now, last word here. So something we have done, it is a bit of a tradition on these airwaves over the years. We get to the final four teams, the final four left in the NCAA men's basketball tournament, and we ask the question, what letter grade do you give the 2024 Final Four, as it is down to just four? That's it. Wow, the championship game on Monday, a week from today, they'll crown a new champion in college basketball. So to answer the question, and for many years I've been a professor giving out grades here, so to answer the question, what letter grade do you give the Final Four circa 2024? So I'm going to give this on the MALLER report card. The Final Four gets a B+. I'm going to go B+. And I'm not being Benny Brightside. I wanted to paint it. I wanted to kill it. I wanted to rip it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not. Now, we don't have the true Cinderella. I would argue Alabama as a football school getting in is more of a Cinderella than NC State from the breadbasket of tremendous college basketball over the years in that corridor with North Carolina just down the road and Duke, and then you've got NC State. So I don't consider them like a traditional underdog, even though their seeding is number 11. I would say Alabama, from a football conference, Alabama is the underdog. But forget about Alabama. You've got good storylines. That's all I'm caring about. I don't care about much other than what's the story. We've got good stories, right? And the main reason I am giving the Final Four a B+, and you can grade it yourself, but my methodology here, my breaking down of the Final Four it's like a wedding planner, right? It's like a wedding planner. You've got to have the centerpiece, right? You got to have the centerpiece at the wedding. They've got that with UConn. UConn has not just been a college basketball team. It's like they're playing a different sport than everyone else. What they have done here. They are absolutely charbroiling everyone they've come across here. These games aren't even close. They had a 30-0 run. You see the game on Saturday? They had a 30-0 run in the game on Saturday. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. They're not totally stacked with future NBA players. They got a couple. They got a lottery pick here or there on that team. But they lost a bunch of guys from last year's championship team. And UConn put the Fighting Illini into a blender over the weekend. They've been doing that against everyone. And Dan Hurley's club is in a different stratosphere at this particular point. So they're up there. You've got the big bad Connecticut beating everybody by a gazillion points. So you've got that, and they're the centerpiece team. But then you've got some other compelling storylines. You've got, as we mentioned, Alabama's a football school. Alabama hanging out there, doing their thing. They're in the Final Four. Zach Edey, who's the size of a small mountain at 7'4", Zach Edey, and he's going to win every major college basketball award and has been projected as a second-round pick, and that's a pity second-round pick. Although I did see some people at ESPN trying to pump him up as a lottery pick. They're the only ones doing that. All of the mock drafts said, no, this guy's going to be a second-round pick and maybe not even drafted because he's so slow and he has no outside game and he doesn't play the modern style of the NBA. But you've got that storyline with Zach Edey. And then if you like the fat athlete, you got DJ Burns. I mean, DJ Burns reminds me of me when I was Moneyball Maller back in the day. He's out there. He's fatty, running around there. Good player, DJ Burns. I like the guy. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of DJ Burns. So, and we're guaranteed. The cool thing about this is we are guaranteed because of the matchup. If you look at the matchups here, you've got UConn and Alabama. That'll be a 25-point win for UConn. And then you've got Purdue versus NC State, and you're going to have either Zach Edey or DJ Burns will be in the national championship game, a chance to win the whole ball of wax.